Hello, Facebook. Lynn Marie here, coming to you with this week's Quit of the Week. And it is quit being so serious, or quit feeling the need to have to be so serious all the time. And I'll tell you why this came up for me this week. It started yesterday. I was taking an online course through Mind Valley, and my buddy Jason Goldberg was in the course. And so he's there on the screen. I'm watching a video with him. And before the course, they had us print out this little packet. And Jason's mug is on the cover of this packet too. So I'm watching him and I'm doing this packet with his face here. And I just had to pause it. And I took a picture of it. And I put it on Instagram. And I was like, so much Jason Goldberg. And I stopped and realized, like, people who follow my quitting thing on Instagram. By the way, can you hear the trash trucks? Transformers fighting each other outside. Anyway, the people who follow me on Instagram, who follow Quitting by Design, probably are going there for quitting related advice. And I thought to myself for a second, like, this isn't really quitting related advice, but posted it anyway. Because Jason's course was telling us about how he had put together his course, which is called Playful Prosperity. And he's a coach, and he had a lot of success with this course, but it brought back to mind the fact that he's always trying to incorporate fun in whatever he's doing. And he has a Facebook group, and he does a little live broadcast every morning, and it's a blast. Like, it is always so much fun. He has a great time doing it. He's a comedian, so he's naturally fantastic at this. Or maybe not naturally, maybe he works really hard at it, but it comes off very natural. But he gives a lot of great content to us, but I want to watch it every day because it's fun and he's having a great time. And so I thought, I'm going to post this anyway. Like, it's going to make me laugh. Maybe it'll make somebody else laugh. Like, maybe it's not some really wise quitting content, but whatever. So anyway, I go watch a little bit more of the course. And then at some point, I see that Jason Goldberg himself has reposted it with like, how many Jason Goldbergs is too many? And then I decide to repost that repost. Oh, he also called it like Jason Goldberg Inception, because it was, you know, what the reposts look like when you repost them. But then I put a bunch of Jason Goldbergs around it and put like, never enough. And I had that same thought again, like, is this bringing any quitting value to anybody's life? And then I thought, what would Jason say about this? Well, he'd probably say like, I'm being playful and I'm having a good time. And people can see that, like, behind the person that, I really hope that you can even hear me with all these trash trucks, sorry, but behind the person that gives them, you know, quitting advice week after week is like a real person who actually just likes to have fun like anybody else. I mean, at the end of the day, why are we quitting things? So that we can be happy and fulfilled. And what does a happy, fulfilled life look like? It's generally filled with laughter and joy and levity. So why not bring that to whatever I'm doing? Why do I need to be so serious? So that got me started thinking about the quit being so serious tip. Then last night, I was preparing for my podcast today, and the podcast I just recorded was with Connor Moore of the Realness podcast and the Realness community and the Intention Journal and gettherealnessmedia.com, I think, if I've got all of his stuff in. But he's so much fun, and I literally could not sleep last night. I just could not fall asleep. And I was like those Disney World commercial kids where I was like, we're too excited to sleep. Like, I knew that recording the podcast was going to be so much fun because I had already decided, forget this, you know, like decorum. I usually try to like, let's talk, take me back to when you started quitting. And here's the questions I tend to ask. And I try to get this information out. And I was just set the intention of, I'm going to have a great time with Connor. And I started thinking, why don't I just set that intention all the time? Like, I knew it was going to be playful. Shouldn't it always be playful? Shouldn't it always be fun? I mean, I love recording the podcast, but there are like separate levels of fun. There's like I love doing this thing, and then there's like, I can't sleep because I'm so excited to do this thing. And short of the fact that like, I'm not trying to give anybody insomnia, you should aim for as much of that excitement as you can within your normal sleep schedule. So again, I thought like, that's just another reason to quit feeling as though everything has to be so serious. And not that I'm saying, okay, I've walked around for the past, you know, however long I've been doing this, thinking like this has to be very serious. But it's just a little mindset shift that I invite you all to make. Those of you who are doing, you know, some kind of coaching or even in medicine, or anybody, like, again, the people I was talking to last week who I said, you don't have to know everything all the time. You know, the same people, we could probably have even more fun with whatever we're doing. And we won't necessarily lose the credibility That's, I think, a lot of what we worry about is like, if we just show our kind of fun side, are they going to think that we're credible? And I think in today's world, we're starting to realize authenticity matters a lot. So you're probably going to seem more credible if you seem like a real human with actual, like, you find things funny and you laugh, and when stuff goes wrong, you're okay with it. Like in that Mind Valley training I was watching yesterday, at some point the audio went wonky. And instead of being like, oh my gosh, we have to re-record all this, they literally just put a thing up, a little bar that said, not sure what happened with the audio here. Hang on a second, it'll get better. And like, I really appreciated that. It didn't at all take away from what I thought about Mind Valley and their training. It made me feel they were more human. Like, I'm glad they didn't spend a whole lot of money re-recording this. I'm glad they just slapped that up there and knew that there's no real value to having this perfection thing that we all have to claim for. Like, just make a little joke out of it. Tell them the audio will come back. It was fine. So that's my 2 cents for the week. That you don't necessarily have to be in some stressful situation where like, you're like, oh, I'm really serious all the time, but just quit whatever thoughts that you had, like, I must maintain this level of seriousness or this level of decorum, because if you increase your playfulness, I bet a lot of people will continue to find you still as authoritative as you ever were, but they might enjoy getting advice from you or taking, medical prescriptions from you or whatever your job is. They might enjoy it even more, because when you are a little bit more lighthearted and yourself, a little more connection can be made, and you could be there and present with whoever you're talking to or whoever you're trying to serve, and it doesn't have to be so serious for you or them, and it'll kind of bring a new level of joy to everything. That's all I got, but excitement. I finally made that Facebook group I kept asking you about. It's called Quitopia. I will put a link to it in the comments so that you can come join me there. There is like one introductory question that I think is just to make sure that you're not a bot, or to make sure that it's still a closed group or whatever. I could take off all the questions, but just one so that I don't think you accidentally hit join in your sleep or something. But it's very easy. So please, if you'd like more of this quits of the week or quit happens podcast links and all that stuff, a little more of everything in the quitter sphere, come and join me over at Quitopia. And as always, check out my brand spanking new website. Maybe not as always, this is new. I mean, I've always had quittingbydesign.com, but there's a new coaching page and there's a new speaking page. So please go check it out. And until next time, happy quitting.